What it do, what it do, what it do. It's your boy Silly Seal, Juice to the Legend, Man So Crazy collaboration. And today we got a legend in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? One of the most requested interviews in the history of our channel, man. None other than the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Albert BatMan Donelson.
Yeah, what it do, baby?
What up?
Man, chillin', man.
How you doing?
Man, we good, bro. Like my boy said, man, boy, this is a highly requested video, and bro, we appreciate you too for bringing us down at the radio station, man, putting the light on us. But today, man, we want to get it to your story, man. The world got to know your story because you got a very, very interesting story. Right. You know what I'm saying? From your upbringing and just being a native of Jacktown. You know what I'm saying? You are most definitely a Juice to the Legend. Not only did you do your thing in the streets, but you also did your thing in the music game. You know what I'm saying? Wood Street Players, man, a very legendary group. You know what I'm saying? You can't come on Wood Street, on this side of Jackson, and not think of Wood Street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember back in the day where you could even walk down Wood Street. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Sure. But we finna get it to my boy. Let's break it down. Let's get it.
So first of all, man, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm chilling, man, taking it day by day.
Okay. So we're gonna get started from the beginning, man. What kind of child was BatMan? How was it growing up in the Wood Street area, man?
Man, the child I was the average child, you know. But I was kind of like the child that stuck with his mama all the time. You know, and his mama always talked to him. So I was like, I got 7 siblings. I got 2 older brothers, then it's me. Then I got the rest under me. It's 5 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
So I don't know if my older brother thought the way I thought. I seen my mama cry. She didn't have certain things. I started at a young age at a grocery store, picking up groceries for tips. And I did just like the average ghetto hood youngster gonna do. If he see something, he gonna take something.
Yeah.
They dropped $5, I put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
I did that. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I did that.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old doing stuff like that. Yeah. I can remember back, I told a story, I think last week I'd be on a show called, on Fridays called Put It On the Table.
Yeah.
She asked me back, tell one of your stories. I said, okay, I'll tell you. I told her the one where you do the right thing for the wrong. You do the right thing for the wrong. You make the wrong decision for the, I don't know how to say that, but let me get it right. You do the wrong thing for the right thing, or the right thing for the wrong thing. Either or, you'll figure out what I'm gonna say to you. We had to be about 8 years old. My sister was 7, and my mother had left, went to the grocery store. Mind you, now we hadn't ate probably about a day. You know, we were just around there drinking water, eating sugar sandwiches, just like the average hood baby do.
Right.
You know, so my mama in Chicago, Jackson, you could put Jackson in a corner of south side of St. Louis, not Chicago, south side of St. Louis. And you can put it in east side, anywhere around St. Louis, you could put this city in a corner of that south side, east side, west side, or north side. Right. Jackson not big, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
And my mama walked from east side to west side to get her food stamps, whatever she was going to get for us, because she was under welfare. So I understood that when I was young, she had to get a check. So she said she had to walk to get her check. So she walked to get her check. It took her all that day to get back. She left that morning. Right? Yeah. It took her all that day to get back. Right. But by the time she had back, it was so many things that happened before she got back home. Right. One of the things had been, 2 of my siblings had laid out to die. Yeah. It was like, man, mama ain't coming back. We were sitting there, my other sister, she came to me, she said, I had 2 siblings that were down with their grandma, so I'm trying to count for everybody. And we were just the four with her at the time. And my other sister, she came to me, she said, the door open across the hall. I said, the door open across the hall? She said, yeah. So I go out, I look, I go peek up in the door, I look around, pay attention, see the man back turned. I said, well look, you watch my back, holler if you see him turn around, coming out running. So I goes in there, I bring out the bacon, the egg, the sausage, the grits. I brought it all out.
Right.
Drug it on out one by one, got it out the house, went into our house. We was there in St. Louis, went into our house, fed my sister, brother, we ate. So after we ate, we was in there, we was having fun. My mama come home late, probably 1 or 2 o'clock.
Right.
She had took grocery from one side of the city. She went got the check,
Right.
went to the grocery store and brought the grocery back.
Right.
I don't know how to even say I appreciate you, mama, for that.
Right.
Cause that's like, if you ever think about that, what a mother goes through.
Right.
And I was that child that was beside my mama and seen me. You feel what I'm saying? So it bothered me as a child. So as a child, I started, I'm going past something. Let me go back to when we was in the house and my sister fell out. My mama came home about 1 o'clock. When she came home about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, she came and she told us to go down and get the groceries. We went down there and got the groceries, came back up. She was looking at us like, y'all acting, you know, like y'all, she knew wasn't in the house, so why would we be up just hopping around?
Right.
Then we heard a knock at the door, boom, 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 boom. All I hear just whip, wow. Everybody here, there's 4 children in there at that time. Look, we looking at that door. We know we done something we had no business. So when we heard it, when she opened the door, said, who is it? He says, who it was. She opened the door. He says to my mother that, hey, I think your children been in my house. And my mother says to him, you got me fucked up, you know, with the average black
Right.
fuck already then. You got me fucked up, take your pedophile. I can remember this shit like it was yesterday.
Right.
So, but we sitting there feeling, I'm feeling kind of guilty because my mama going out, she don't know we really did it.
Right. Right.
So we kind of quiet and everything, settling down. She said, I'm going out to take the garbage out. And you know, in Chicago, you can be on the high rise on the 6th floor.
Right.
Whatever your dope number is gonna be on your garbage can.
Right.
We was young, so we weren't thinking. We wouldn't put all what we took, the trash, in the garbage can, in our garbage can.
Yeah.
So our mama said she want to take the garbage out.
Yeah.
And we said, Mama, no, I take the garbage. One of us, everybody was trying to get in front of our mama, take the garbage out. She wasn't going. And it wasn't because that she knew we had done something wrong. She just wanted to take the garbage out.
Right.
It was a natural thing. That's how everything always get messed up.
Yeah.
Natural.
Right.
Yeah.
She went downstairs, went to the stove, went down to garbage, came back up. She said, y'all come here. Line up. We already went in there looking like scarecrow. We got 4, 5 pair of pants on, shirts on.
Yeah.
We try to get head gear here because it's gonna go down.
Right.
So we go up there, she says, you. She pointed at me and said, you come here. I came to her, she said, this is one of the times that really kind of, you stick with me. That's why I tell the story all the time.
Right.
She says to me, she said, I know you did. I looked at her and I was finna lie, just as sure as I was a child.
Yeah.
I looked at her, I was just finna shorten up, say, I ain't do it. And when I said she grabbed me and she shook me so violently and said to me, don't you ever do that.
Right.
That'll get you killed. You don't know who that man was. He could have been a serial killer. I can remember the words. And then she hugged me in the same line and said, I love you.
Right.
That's a mother love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And you don't get that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that. A child love their mama naturally.
Right.
But a daddy, a child gotta grow on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we have to work to be in our children's life.
Right.
And I work every day to be in my child's life.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So-
if it ain't number showing them how I was and what I did and what's told ain't to be real, what's told is what's coming from the horse mouth. Now.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So yeah.
So you speak on y'all being in Chicago. About how old were you when y'all made that trip to Jackson?
Well, I was born in Jackson.
Okay.
I left Jackson as an arm baby. My mom took us to Chicago. So we stayed in Chicago always. We was coming back and forth. We was always up there, a year or two.
Right.
And, you know, just frequent, just like we were here now.
Right.
I know Chicago like I know Jackson.
Right.
So when I went up there, we stayed up there. I got a lot of family from Chicago.
Right.
And we all represent different things.
Yeah.
And I was the only one representing what I represented. I represented Vice Lord.
Right.
So my cousin was gangster. I got a family full of gangsters. I'm the only vice lord. My family, the only vice lord family.
Right.
But this is what family kicking in there.
Right.
This is what love. And see, so a lot of people got to understand love. It ain't just a word.
Right.
It's an action.
Right.
And people got to know that. And people don't think that I love you. They say it so quick to tell you I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you say, oh, hey, I need some water. Well, I ain't got no water over here. I ain't got nothing to eat.
Right.
Well, how you love me?
Right.
It don't add up. In Chicago, I got into it up there. Me being a vice lord, I was Southside Chicago, 71st and Windward.
Right.
And I come out the house, I had on red and black, had my head popped. You know what I'm saying? One of them days, I was like, fuck it.
Right.
I'm gonna be me.
Let them hang.
Yeah, I'm who I am. I ain't dissing nobody. I ain't disrespecting nobody. You know, I'm big player. You know what I'm saying? So I go up the street. I never forget this. I go into the shop to get a burger and some fries. And when I looked out, that shop I got ordered, it was 30 or 40 dudes out there. Gangsters. It was out there.
Yeah.
And I looked at that door. I go even lie.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
don't go out there, though. Stay in the store right now.
Yeah.
So as I'm debating about the door, and I'm getting agitated because one dude walked in like we on holiday. And I'm like, on what? He talking what you got your head, you want to take your hat? I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna take my hat off. I am turning my head.
Yeah.
Right.
I ain't disrespect you.
Right.
I just want a little respect when I come. That's all he said when he went out the door. He went talking, they went out the door. I knew what was going on. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's finna go down.
Yeah.
Right.
So I looked up. My cousin them come from down the street, and they stayed in a 3-story house. And they come from down the street, 18 and all, everybody.
Yeah.
Come from down the street. My cousin, they big guys, they in it.
Yeah.
In it to win it. You hear me?
Yeah.
Bust through the crowd. Say, oh, nah. This is my motherfucking blood cousin, y'all.
Right.
I can't see him, let y'all hurt him or kill him. So they was like, you know, they was having a big old discussion, argument, debate about everything. My cousin like through with the debate thing. He was like, y'all do talk about it. My cousin finna go home. Come on out the store, man.
Right.
So I come on out the store, walk through the little crowd. You know, they talking, they saying little stuff to me. I ain't saying that.
Right.
I'm being, you know, when you're in a position, you gotta know how to play. A lot of people don't know how to play. You crash before you get where you're trying to get to.
Right.
And that could have been one of the crashing moments. I could have turned around and said, who I am, well, disrespect and do all what a crash dummy do. And I say words like crash dummy because people know them words.
Right.
They get on hood words, but they mean something.
Yeah.
So I want to crash dummy. So I go on back to the house, and them cousins them, they would get in the house. First them could, man, why you do this? You know, you can't do this. Man, I'm like, man, I'm tired of just walking around here looking like I wear my hat to the left. I don't like my hat straight ahead. I wear it straight now because I got older.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I was young, I was about that. I'm wearing my hat to the left,
Deep to the left.
deep to the left. I'm gonna do me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't bothering nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, back then, same they do right now. They think it's just it's something different. It's not different.
Right.
It's just a lot of people, a lot of kids
Right.
that I can't say it.
We feel you. We understand.
They did it over.
Yeah, they did it over. They way.
I can't say it right now.
I got you.
But you know what I'm talking about. They started over.
Right.
And everything in the world always do that.
Right.
The Afro started over.
Right.
I thought Afro would be back out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's out, man.
Mhm.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Now they got bell bottoms out. You got women wearing bell bottoms with heels now.
Right.
Right.
Back in the 50s, 70s, all that they were wearing that.
Yeah.
You know, so stuff evolves.
Right.
It turns over and turns over, do it again and again and again. So it's not new for me to see what's going on in Jackson.
Right.
And a lot of things people understand when they ask me, they say, man, you go a lot of places, but do you worry about things you did? I think we're gonna probably get more into that later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking on, well, let me ask you this. Is it true that you got your name BatMan from doing a football move, playing football at Galloway, man? Speak on that, man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They think BatMan came from in the streets.
Right.
BatMan came from playing football.
Yeah.
And it originally started as Bat Mike. Bat Mike was a little thing that used to be with Batman back in the day. People remember the first Batman, go to the comic books and look at it, it was Bat Mike, a little thing like that.
Okay.
So I wasn't big as that now. I still can move a little bit now.
Yeah.
But I was slim and I could move. So my coach started calling me BatMan.
Yeah.
And, it went from BatMan to BatMan. It evolved in the street to BatMan.
Yeah.
And people in the street started thinking it came from me being in the streets. And I had to tell them, nah, this came from actually a positive thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It just turned into a negative thing, you know, and now it's turned back into a positive thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you speak on the Vice Lord, man. What made you get down with the Vice Lord, man?
Well, partially because it's a culture thing.
Right.
Everything over on Wood Street is predominantly Vice Lord,
Right.
Stone, 4 CHs, you name it, under 5, double I's,
Right.
everything over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, it was a culture move. It wasn't just like I had a revelation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, you where you are.
You from over there, you
You
gonna
from
be
over
Vice
here, you
Lord.
got to rep
Right.
where you
For
at.
sure, for
Right.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's your hood. Be proud of your hood.
Right.
So it was kind of like that, you know, and it stuck with me. A lot of things that I read, and a lot of positions I was in. Like when I went to prison, a lot of times I was on boards and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I talked about a lot of stuff. I kept things fair. You know, even when people shoot crosses, because you know when you got criminals, they gonna do criminal shit.
Right.
It ain't no different. Ain't no different than saying out here right now. Vice Lord is a activist.
Right.
I'm an activist.
Right.
That's what we dominantly supposed to be.
Right.
Our
Right.
literature tell us this.
Yeah.
This is what our literature tell us now.
Yeah.
It literally tell the same thing to the gangster too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when we get out and do the opposite, like we did, like I did, I got out, I sold drugs, and I sold drugs because poverty.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's always an action and a reaction.
Right.
It's always something happening to make something else happen.
Right.
And it corresponds with everything that's going on in your life. So by me jumping into the culture thing, I'm living over here, I live over here, I'm born and raised over here.
Right.
I turned Vice Lord, I'm Vice Lord now. And I want a gang banger.
Right.
So it was a lot of gangsters I still deal with.
Right.
I still hung with gangsters, I still did what I did, and they
Right.
respected who I was. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
it wasn't just, it was to me, being a Vice Lord and people read the literature, I can give them the literature. I can sit down and tell them the literature what it tell them.
Yeah.
It tell them that you're supposed to be in your community doing what I'm doing.
Right.
It tell them that you're supposed to protect your woman. It tell them all this. It tell them what you're supposed to do about your community. It tell you everything what you're supposed to do with your brother. It tell you a lot of stuff. People don't look at that.
Right.
The young average man right now, they looking at just hanging out. I'm a Vice Lord.
Right.
I'm mob. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I'm a rob. I'm a take. I'm gonna do this. No,
Ain't about
that
that.
ain't what it's about. If they really want to know the truth, go let's look at the history of Vice Lord.
Right.
You know we got a grant. CBL got the first grant made for non-profit program, non-profit foundation.
Speak on.
See, and people don't know that we supposed to be doing this right now.
Right.
But like what happened? Stuff happened. Shit happens.
Right.
I'll be the first to say shit happened.
Right.
People, you got certain people in position don't make the right moves.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And just because they didn't make the right move, don't mean we don't supposed to make the right move.
Right.
The ones that represented now.
Right.
The ones out being active now. You ain't gotta be out shooting everybody you get into it with,
Right.
but you do. So when you do that, you gotta take your motherfucking lick.
You got to.
I took mine.
Yeah.
When I went to prison,
Yeah.
I went to trial. I did everything I supposed to did when I supposed to did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's deep. That's a deep question right there.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that because it's culture.
Right.
It wasn't like you had to sit down and mama take you to church and make you do it.
Right.
It was like natural. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Like everybody around me Vice Lord, so why would I not be Vice Lord? You know what I'm saying? And you see a person that do be different.
Right.
Just because they different don't mean it's not real.
Right.
You just got to understand another person's pain and another person's views.
Right. You got to.
So I want to get into some of the music, man. When did you first meet Hodge, man?
Me and Hodge went at 10 years old.
Okay.
Hodge was 10, I was 10. Believe it or not, I was the A student.
Okay.
Hodge was the hood baby.
Okay.
Hodge was he was the first person that got me out of school. And my mom right now, she probably slapping him side his head. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was in school going. I fight now, but
Right.
I was smart as well.
Right.
I can go and look at something, read something, and go and pass the test without studying the whole week. And people didn't understand. It just that's how I think. Right now I rap. I don't write raps.
Right.
Have you ever saw me write anything? I write notes down, like when I go do my show, but I don't write rap. I keep all it in my head, and I've just been equipped like that. I don't understand it, but that's the way I'm built.
Right.
And like when I went to prison so many times, you got so many learning orders, right?
Right.
You got touch, learn, seeing, reading, hearing, and I was a person that had to go through a lot of stuff to understand stuff.
Right. So what made y'all want to get into music, man? Did you come from a musical background or?
No, believe it or not, me and I have broken everything we could break it. We broke it every store, every house, every pawn shop. They put us in training school 3-4 times. And me and Hans actually rode to training school all the time together.
Right.
Went to penitentiary together.
Right.
It's like my brother, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Look, I mean, it's one time that we had a big fight on Wood Street.
Right.
And it was me and him against whatever was going on.
Right.
And we fought all the way up Wood Street. Just fight.
Right.
But that's that one guy you know gonna die with you.
Right.
So that was him. At 10 years old, we knew that when we first got around each other. We were just doing a lot of stuff that we did, and it was cool, man. Yeah. It was cool. So, like when you asked me that question, how did I get with Hodge?
Yeah.
It was coach.
Yeah.
It was the coach again. We all sit around each other, we vibing each other, and both of us think the same.
Right.
And when you can look at a person and you can figure out what they think, that's your people.
Yeah.
Right.
That's your people right
For
there.
sure.
It's the person you can't figure out what they saying when you look at them. You can't figure it out, that means get out.
Right. Speak on the climate of the city, man. Coming up in them 90s, man. You know what I'm saying? That real era, man. Speak on the climate of the city at the time, man.
Man, I never ashamed of what I did. You know, I always tell the person, I ain't no saint, I did this, I did that. You know, at that time in the 90s, I was over here doing what I was doing. I was at the height of what I was doing, and I was pushing my agenda. I was, you know what I'm saying, I was protecting my neighborhood at the same time too. At least I felt that way.
Right.
And a lot of things you feel don't be necessary, the next person feel the same way you feel.
Right.
But at the time, I felt like, you know, I was protecting my neighborhood, I'm with my people, and I feel like they were by my neighborhood right now. I live in the hood, I stay right on the street over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not in some way out neighborhood living in another county and
Right.
coming over here talking about Wood Street. I'm over here every day.
Okay.
I live over here. So that makes me feel better. That I can walk down my own neighborhood and everybody, hey, what's up, big bro? What's up, back? This and that. The old lady might call me, I got this problem with this water, I need this deed, I got this problem with somebody messing me down. That still feel good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I could come to a person in a better way than I came when I was younger. So when I was selling dope and when I ain't doing everything else, I might would have came with 30 niggas.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And push the whole line right then.
Yeah.
Right.
Either you gonna take it back or we gonna do what we gotta do right here with you.
Right.
9 times out of 10, you take that shit back to where you supposed to take it to.
Right.
This neighborhood was a neighborhood that you couldn't break in nobody's house.
Right.
So,
They knew they could go down there on that corner and tell somebody, look,
Right.
these boys broke in my house.
yeah.
And I think that's the difference between then and now.
Right.
And in the 90s, we took more love for our hood.
Right.
Because we knew if we coming over here, we gonna live over here. We gonna be over here. So we gotta protect here.
Right.
You ain't coming in here to do nothing wrong. And that was the mind state of me then.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't coming in to do nothing wrong. See, I'm gonna go out here and I might not come to your hood because I know you ready.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was the thing about being in the hood. You knew you protected in your hood.
Yeah.
I don't think right now in Jackson, I don't think nobody feel protected in their hood.
Nah.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a problem. And most of these being organization members, notice I said organization members.
Right.
I ain't say gang.
Yeah.
You know, the critics will call us gangs and everything else.
Right.
But those organization members, they supposed to step up.
Right.
They supposed to be at these marches.
Right.
This is where they front line in. They are the front line. We are the front line for the
Right.
citizens.
Mm.
If we don't do it, it ain't never gonna happen.
Right.
It's gonna always stay in the negative, and we all gonna be doing whatever the white folk want us to do. And I ain't just talking about white folk, we got some uppity ass niggas too.
Sure.
We should be able to-
Dirty ass niggas, you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So it's a dirty game.
For sure. Now Back at that time.
In the 90s. I know what you want to talk
In the
about.
90s.
You want to talk about Frank, though?
Not yet. We just want to speak on the reputation Wood Street held at that time, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I used to tell everybody, I'm from Wood, bro. Y'all ain't gonna touch me, man. Y'all, Wood had a reputation. At that time, people consider Wood Street the most treacherous part of Jackson, man. You know what I'm saying?
It was the most safest part of Jackson that you can come in.
Right, for
You know
sure,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
You
But I'm saying, speaking from
you
an
had
outside.
love. You came in, you had love, just like anywhere else.
Right.
You came in, you had love. It was cool.
For
You
sure.
know, if you came here with that bullshit,
For sure.
you finna get some
You
bullshit.
finna get
Just
it.
same way it happened right now. And it was happening in every neighborhood. You can look at the 90s right now. Jackson, they'll say Wood Street was it, right?
Right.
But you can think about all the people that went to trial for murder in that era.
Right.
You had the gray-headed gang.
For sure.
You had a lot of people.
Yeah,
Wood Street
right.
player. You had Vidal.
Yeah.
You had Vidal was a instant root in him, but certain things happened.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell you a story about him.
Let's speak on it.
See, like the situation about Vidal, a lot of people don't know. I say this to be real. I know the situation over here on Wood. When you don't understand how to evolve and move on, I'm 50 years old.
Right.
I do not have no business being around a 25-year-old unless it's my son.
Right.
You know, facts.
I don't have no business being there.
Right.
And when you accustomed to doing the same thing over and over, everybody knew about it. He robbed, do everything.
Right.
I robbed and did everything.
Right.
But I evolved from situation to situation to situation to get to where I'm at now. And I think him more not evolving
Right.
and the situation ate him up as a whole
Right.
in his own hood. And that should be a lesson to anybody to see something like that. You in your hood and you get done in your own hood by your own people,
Right.
something that you did.
For sure.
I ain't gotta speak words, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying you got to know what not to do. You know, I know what not to do.
Right.
I know if I'm in this lane, stay in this lane, do what I'm
Common
doing.
sense.
Right. And I'm not gonna mix these lanes together. Stay in my place. You gotta know your role. Anybody driving a car, and I was in the federal penitentiary, they call our states cars.
Right.
All right, anybody driving a car know you gotta have wheels to roll, right?
Right.
You gotta have an engine to crank up, right?
Right.
You gotta have lights to see, right?
Right. Right.
If you ain't got nail one of them, that car insufficient,
Right. Right.
right? So you gotta think about every piece on there play its role.
Right.
And that's how the streets is. That's how Wood Street is.
Right.
Everybody play their role at points, at times.
Right.
And that's just life.
Right.
You don't know the role to play, that's why you get crushed sometimes.
Right.
It don't have to be a physical crush.
Right.
It could be an emotional crush.
Right. Right.
Hurt people now. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Alright. Frank Melton, man. How old were you when you first started hearing about Frank Melton, man?
I've been hearing about Frank Melton when I was 12, 13 years old. I ain't never thought I'd be the one he aimed at, but yeah, I heard about Frank when I was 12, 13 years old, man. And never saw him, never met him, never in my life been around him. I was in Fed I was already doing time on a gun charge and an aggravated assault charge. Frank come in my life then. I had made bond on the aggravated assault charge. So I was out. And a crooked police, this motherfucker right here put a gun on me.
Yeah.
Not to say I wasn't selling dope, but who I was at that time. And now everybody knew I was.
Well, he painted a gun on you?
Yeah, he got the gun. Right now, I can call the guy, gun, and he was right there with me.
Right.
He took his gun from him and said it was my gun. And we both sitting there. Well, I went to trial about it.
Right.
And in the middle of the trial, they came up with some more stuff that had nothing to do with what was going on in the trial,
Right.
but it was connected to it.
Right.
And I ended up taking the plea. That was one of my times in my life I hated because I had to bite the bullet for
Right.
something I didn't do. But I looked on the own side of everything. What about the things I got away with? What about this? This might be where I gotta take my lick at right here.
Right.
For this right here. People don't pay attention to life like that.
Right.
I do.
For sure, bro.
So like dealing with Frank, right? Frank, let me hit this blunt right quick, y'all.
Go ahead, man.
Real. Take your time, baby.
Dealing with Frank. Dealing with Frank, man. Frank was just.
And look, I don't mean to stop you, but to the people out there who don't know who Frank Melton is or was, let's tell them who he was.
He was the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, he was the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi.
And what Frank did, man. See, when you brought Frank up,
Right.
that's like hard right there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Because I know this dude was trying to bury me.
For sure.
Yeah.
He was trying to make sure I never got out of prison. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Or die in prison. However it go, he knew what he was trying to do.
Right.
And Frank went from news executive,
Right.
news executive, to over the NBN,
Right.
Mississippi Narcotic Bureau.
Yeah.
Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics.
Yeah.
Right.
No police, no law enforcement, none of that experience in his bill.
Right.
Dropped his shares, everything, left everything, sold it, whatever he did
Yeah.
to get the position.
Right.
They put him over people that was in law enforcement over 30 years,
Right.
40 years.
Right.
This man ain't never been in none of this. Ain't been no police academy or none of this type of thing.
Right.
He was over this large police force.
Yeah.
Oh, large. He made it small.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand. They go to my trial and see this. They gonna see ATF agents get on there and say Frank Melton took us from all over Mississippi to
Right.
Justin Jackson chasing one man.
Right.
And this man was in prison the whole time we were chasing and saying Frank Melton was talking about him, which I was.
Yeah.
Right.
But I got these charges, and people connected. When people, you don't know who people connected to.
Right.
Frank was connected to a couple of people.
Right.
And even though people were lying,
Right.
yeah, I was a part because I'm from Worcester. These my people, I'm with them.
Right. Right.
But you lied. You said I did. You said I did this. You said I did that. I didn't.
Right.
You know one thing, when you start a war, I ain't got to get an order. Ain't nobody got to get no order. Everybody
Sure.
gonna play their role at that point.
For sure.
You know, if you got west side against east side, the first killing that started, everybody getting their position then.
Right. Right.
Black people are real revenge.
Yeah.
Right.
They want their lick back.
Yeah.
And that's a deep bedded thing, because I got it in me sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think about it all the time.
Right.
If I don't take the time to think about it, I always be trying to get my lick back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Right.
now black people got that in them. They want
Right.
their lick back. Frank went from NBN,
Right.
went from
News.
news executive to
Right.
NBN. From NBN to mayor.
Right.
Now any black man you would have gave him kudos
Right.
for this.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This black man told me why he was in news executive on TV at a show called The Bottom Line.
Bottom line.
Y'all remember The Bottom
Oh,
Line?
yeah.
The bottom line.
He told me in that Bottom Line that he was gonna charge me for murder. And I asked my lawyer, I said, you hear Frank talking about BatMan been involved in 8, 9 murders and da-da-da-da-da. I'm looking like, no. Where did this man come with all this mess he coming with? You know what I'm saying? So I called my lawyer. I'm in prison finna do 60, 63 months for a gun charge.
Right.
I'm asking him, why is Frank talking about me and I'm in jail?
Right.
He was like, don't worry about that. Frank just a lot of high error. No, he wasn't. He wasn't no lot of high error.
You were dead serious.
He was being what he was saying, what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I didn't understand what was going on. I'm in Pollock, Louisiana, doing a federal charge.
Right.
Never forget it, day in my life. I go to the library. About 40 inmates in there, standing around newspaper. I pick up the newspaper. I walk in, people look at it. I ain't been there about 3-4 years. I'm quiet, play basketball, just living, trying to get back to the world. You know what I'm talking about? And I get up in the, walk to them, they doing their thing. I walk, they turn around and look, I look at the news, my face, the biggest thing on it. You got my baby mama, one on. That's some good shit right here. my baby mama, one on, and 13 other dudes, my guys that we was all together, 14 of us together.
Right.
And they got over there. GangBoss are the hits.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, the hits, what are you talking about? I know you don't know what you're talking about because that ain't happened.
Right.
So Frank makes this big old thing with Mac Miller, sheriff then at that time, Mac Miller. He made this big old thing. He tell Mac Miller he wants to see me.
Right.
Mac Miller done got me. I've been in jail 3 years. They done brought me and put me in a tank and paper the window. Gave me a mattress and a pillow on the floor.
Right.
No TV, no nothing. I stayed in that motherfucker 3 years.
Yeah.
I stayed in that bitch 3 years.
And Raymond?
And the old county jail.
Oh, okay.
The old county
Yeah.
jail. I stayed in that motherfucker 3 years in that bitch. And the only way I got out that bitch was Frank went and told him he wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I told him I didn't want to talk to Frank because I'm charged with all these murder charges. This man that went from executive news station to NBN Narcotic Bureau, Mississippi Narcotic Bureau to Maryland. And his inauguration was who was about? BatMan.
BatMan.
Nobody paid attention that this man said and did everything he said he was gonna do.
He said he the real Batman or something.
I'm in there jumping up and down. Y'all see what's going on? Ain't nobody. You know, I ain't got no more money than that. The money ran out now.
Right.
So we fight for our life now here. You hear me? And this man charged me with all these murder cases and accessories and all kind of stuff.
Right.
Frank, the sheriff came down to me, knocked on my door. I looked at him. He said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up?" He said, what can I do to get you to talk to Frank?" This how much power the man had.
Right.
I said, "Talk to Frank." What you mean talk to him? I'm finna go to trial in a couple of days. What you talking about? I don't need to be talking to Frank. Frank is a witness against me.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like, "No, you can get your lawyer, come up here and talk right there. It's all right." He want to talk. This the type of power this man has.
Yeah.
He can walk in places like this and the sheriff will get to hopping like he is bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They done made a deal on the table. All this type of shit going on back then. So I says to him, I think in my head, I want out this cell. I want out. That's what I say to him. I want out.
They
He
had
said,
you on
"What you talking
23 or something?
Huh?
They had you on 23 day, like they won't let you get out just to take.
Yeah,
You just
I
went
do
out
it 1 hour a
take
day. But I was in there for 3 years. 3 years. They sit there and monitor my phone call and everything. So, he said, "Hold on, I'll be back." Come back 2 minutes seconds. He said, "Listen, get all your stuff. Where you trying to go? If I have any problem out you know what we're gonna do." I said, "You don't have no problem about me. I'm quiet. I want to get me a TV. I want my TV come up there today. Can I get my TV today?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay. Can I get my radio, my FM radio today? Can I make commissary today? I want it all right now."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They say yeah.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. I said, "Okay, I'm good," because I know one thing about Sheriff McMillan. I knew he was a man of his word.
Right.
You just have to make him say it.
Right.
So he said, "Okay, I'm gonna let you up and let you go on up there and do what you're gonna do. But you gotta go talk to Frank."
Right.
So I go down there and talk to Frank. I got my lawyer. His name was Randy Harris. He over there now. He a DA in Madison.
Yeah.
His name Randy Harris. Sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp. I ain't gonna lie. If anybody look for an attorney, you gotta pay him.
Yeah.
Randy Harris, your man.
Yeah.
And I ain't talking about no on the table shit. I'm talking about fight, straight up fight, and
Yeah.
fist fight with these folks in court and win.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched him win before I got him.
Right.
And then he won my case.
Right.
You know what I mean? Frank, I went down there and saw Frank. I saw him, I talked to him. Frank go to try and tell me about what I think I'm gonna do and this thing. I turned to my lawyer. I asked him, do I have to stay down here? Magnolia was standing right there. Magnolia said, "I brought you up here to talk to him."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all do, that's on y'all.
Yeah.
So Frank trying to tell me, see, y'all get some stuff they ain't never heard before.
Right. Right.
So Frank trying to tell me about I need to go to jail, and I told somebody to do this, I told somebody to do that, I told you got me fucked up.
Right.
Say I ain't none of them other guys you been fucking with. I'm different. I said, I'm going to trial. I'll see you in trial in a couple of days. I said, we'll see about everything that you talking about.
Right.
So he said, well, your ass going to prison the rest of your life. I want to make sure that this is words we have with each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, if God's standing, I ain't going nowhere. This is what I said to him. And I'm a thug in the street. I ain't no running around with a Bible under my arm. I ain't lying to no nigga playing with no nigga.
Right.
I believe in God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I went on downstairs, going upstairs to my room, sitting there. I'm still thinking, they might take their word back. Right. Put me back in that cell. You know what I'm saying? I'm quiet. I just want to watch my TV, my little Zuzus and Whams and do my thing. They never did it. Yeah. They left me alone. Yeah. I went to trial. So when I went to trial, hour before I went to trial, my lawyer walked in. Said, we got Frank. I said, what you mean you got Frank? We got Frank. Frank been paying Christopher Walker, which is his name, Christopher Smiley Walker. Yeah. Been paying Christopher Smiley Walker to do everything that he did. When he got caught with the drugs, he turned around and said he was a Wall Street player, all this other stuff, this and that. And connected shit to stuff that wasn't connected to what he had going on. And Frank, they got the tapes. I got the tapes. So I got the tapes. I'm looking at my little homeboy right over on Wood Street that was over here. Yeah. On this tape, he was talking about when he got caught with some drugs in whatever place he got caught in. Right. And Frank was directing him what to say. Right. Directing him. You know what I'm saying? He was just shaking his head, going along with everything. I was looking at him on tape. So we took the tape to the judge. Judge said they can't be on the witness list. They can't be on the witness list. Everybody wondered how we get the mayor off the witness list. That's how we got the mayor off the witness list. Showing the connection of him having a bank account, this guy having a bank card with Frank Melton with his name on it, and he using to do whatever he want to do. You know what I mean? And that's how we got Frank off there. Right. But I still went to trial. Right. And we went to trial. Went to trial because Frank had threatened the judge. She's the judge now. She was a DA then, Faye Peters. He threatened Faye Peters. If she didn't take us to trial, he was gonna get her fired. I know she was scared because she took us to trial. Right. She didn't want to face that. Right. Go ahead.
So you go to trial. Your trial was one of the most high-profile trials ever, man. It was a circuit, man. How were the other inmates treating you? Was some of them looking at you like a God-type figure? Was some of them jealous, envious? You know what I'm saying? How was BatMan feeling at that time, man? Your trial all over the news.
When I go to trial, you got to always know that I've been to penitentiary 2 times before that. Right. So the people in the prison already know me. The guards there already know me. Right. So it's like normal. Right. It's like I won't run around there feeling like I can do this, even though I was doing a lot of stuff inmates couldn't do. Right. I don't know no inmate can walk that girl in there and fuck her. Right. Fuck her in jail. I did that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that, and I did that. My baby mom came to jail to fuck me right in my cell, on the floor in the visitor room, right there. I did all that type of stuff, and I laugh at it now, but I think that it was did like that, and I was able to do it like that to make it through the situations I was in. Right. Because it was like I was always locked down. Yeah. Anybody came saw me when I left that position, they had me in rain. I'm in the back, in the 4-man room, locked down. They just want to keep eye on me. Right. But it was just Dillon and Jackson. Right. You gotta know, all the police people got family in Jackson. Right. Right. Everybody. And that's the problem. I can't understand why we can't get along and do the right thing. Right. When everybody know each other. That's my problem. And going through those days back then, I'm eating free world food. I know they be talking about it. Yeah. I'm fucking my girl. I was talking on the phone when niggas couldn't talk on the phone. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Frank was lying, saying I caught an order from the phone. Yeah. And I always try to tell a person. And this street shit, your ass in the war, ain't nobody got to tell you what to do. Right. You know you finna get your head knocked off. Right. When you know the other side finna come get you, you gonna act accordingly. Right. And you can take that to the bank in cash. And that's what I told Frank when he was talking about I'm gonna do life and all this. Look, I ain't gotta tell nobody to do nothing. You acting like I gotta do, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. No. We're actually in a fucking comeback war, shooting at each other every goddamn day, nigga. Right. Fuck you talking about? Right. We in fucking Compton and Jackson, nigga.
Right.
This shit going down.
Yeah.
You talking about some other shit now, nigga. You playing.
Right.
You talk about, oh, we orchestrate. Nah, ain't no orchestrate. This is some hillbilly shit right here.
Right. John Wayne.
So I'm telling you, the Hatfields and them cars shit.
Yeah.
It's people want to get each other on the other side. I been want to get that nigga. I been want to get that nigga. That shit happen for real in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
That shit happen right now with these youngsters.
Right.
They get into it, one pick one out the other. I'm gonna get that nigga. I been want to get him.
Right.
And they do it.
Right.
People think, oh, he told him. No. In some instances, that's not happening.
Right.
Take that shit to New York.
Right.
You got some shit that happened in Jackson, some shit like that happen.
Right.
But not most instances. I can tell most everything I ever did damn near been spur of the moment.
Right.
Spur of the moment. But they be happy go lucky, everything good. You know what I'm saying? And y'all probably been in them position before.
For sure.
And then bam!
Right.
You like, God damn, you had that calling that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't, you might well be the quiet motherfucker in church on Sunday.
Right.
That's the motherfucker in that box.
Right.
Real shit, man.
So, I know we're finna switch it up a little bit.
Go
I
ahead.
want to get back to the music, man, because y'all do know y'all had some dope ass music out here,
People
bro.
tell us that. They show us love now.
One of my favorites. Real players don't change, man. You know what I'm saying?
Point blank.
Yo, point blank, man.
Point
Speak on
blank.
that, man. When you went in on Pimp C a little bit now,
Yeah,
speak on that a
see.
little bit, man.
See, that's a whole man. Yeah, you went back. See, people don't know the history of that.
Hey,
They
that's
don't
what we
know the
here
history
for.
of that.
That's what we here for.
Listen, we got with Point Blank, and you know he was vital.
Yeah.
Just keep it real with him. We was jamming this stuff, we vibing what he got going on, and we called him up here. Brought him up here to do a show. We paid him and everything, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You pay a man for his work.
Mhm.
You don't do a man in just because you can. That's that bullshit.
Right.
You know, so we brought Blank up here. We started get ready to do the show and everything. Blank had did we had brought Blank like 2 or 3 times did show before Pimp C and Bambino showed up.
Right.
And we had did the song you talking about players don't change. And
Right.
I asked Blank who he was talking about at first.
Yeah.
Cause you know we didn't know. We
Right.
just rapping about what we doing in Jackson.
Right.
So Blank tell me the whole spiel about him and the Blank situation. They talking about the group said something to him, but they really were talking about him. And you know, we talked about it. We discussed it
Right.
had a long discussion about it.
Right.
So I was like, cool, you know what I'm saying? You can put it on there now.
Right.
It's on there.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
change it. It's what you
Yeah.
felt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we put the shit out, everything, and at that time we feeling Blank. We feel Blank right now.
Yeah.
And we would listen to Pimp C, we jamming them too. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
They came to the show. Do a show at Tiffany.
Yeah,
Y'all remember that?
Tiffany,
Hey,
yeah.
boys,
like,
yeah, for sure.
They came to do a show at Tiffany. And we doing, I think we doing the opening for them or something. But we got there, and one of my partners that's in the crew started saying, we ain't nothing but some players over here.
Mhm.
We ain't nothing but some players over here. So we started chanting this stuff. And as we were chanting, we come through the crowd, the whole club is chanting.
Right.
Whole club, the building shaking. These guys on stage. And that's what I didn't realize what was going on when I come through the door.
Right.
Because I was too busy talking to people and to messing with women and everything.
Right.
So as I'm coming through the door, I see my crew hollering, we ain't nothing but some players over here.
Right.
We ain't nothing but some players over here. So I'm handling well, coming on in that. So we up in there, the whole, in the silence what they had going on.
Yeah.
And they was like, them boys there was up there.
Yeah.
They platinum artists.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this little town right here, it showed what Jackson was working with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With some local artists that come in there, everybody knew that chant. They didn't know the words we rapping.
Yeah.
Right.
But they knew that chant right
Yeah.
there.
Right.
And that chant was the song we did a video to.
Oh yeah.
I got a record deal.
For
As
sure.
everybody know, then went to prison. Fucked the record deal up like
Right.
every black man do some shit they don't supposed to be fucking doing.
Right.
When I was sitting at the table with the folks that got a record deal, I was supposed to sit down. But I did. I come back down to Jackson doing God knows what and everything underneath that.
Right.
And trying to go back, trying to double tag, multi-tag.
Right.
And get caught up there. Paperwork sitting on the desk.
Oh,
up
man.
there in Seattle, Washington. I stayed in Seattle, Washington 3 months up there to get there.
For sure.
But And they Sony Records. Yeah.
Hey, speak on that song, we ain't never much players over here. At that time, that was like damn near the national anthem for Wood Street, man. Do you know how hard that song was, and you know what I'm saying, the impact it had? And the guy in the first verse, man, whoever he was, man, he came in snapping like.
This Messiah Hellfire.
Okay.
His
Okay.
name, I met him in prison.
Okay.
And when I met him in prison, I was in cell. He came in. This is how I met him. Pearl, I swear to God. Man walked up to my cell and told me, hey, them guys back there talking about doing something to you.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I said, who? I looked back here. I said, okay. You know, because I'm beefing with people.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I said, okay. He said, man, but I'm with you. I looked at him. Never met this guy a day in my life.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I said, okay. He said, man, come on, let's go in and check these niggas.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, come on. We walked on over there to him, checked him. He who he was at that point.
Right.
And when you're in prison and that kind of situation, you at your lowest. When you at your lowest, that's when you see a person clear.
Right.
You will see what they'll do. You will see if they run, cop their tail, and get on down, or you gonna see they gonna do what they supposed to do.
Right.
And he did what he supposed to do. He came and told me that, and I said, that's an angel in my life.
Right.
That in my life, in that season, at that time, saved me
Right.
to be in the position I'm in. He was one of the people that I would have never trusted him at that point.
Right.
When he said it, I had to trust him because I could feel the vibe and the energy coming from him.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad energy. So we went to check the dudes and everything, got into it and everything. What he said was. And one thing led to another. Altercation came and played. We was end up getting in lockdown, getting out.
Right.
And we ended up being who we were, partners and everything through that. And we went to penitentiary, rolled side by side. Matter of fact, he might be mad if I tell this story, but I'm gonna tell this story. I gotta tell it. We was in the bus. I told him. The only reason I told him this, don't do it. It's because what happened to him happened to me first.
Right.
I had to be 18, 19 going to prison.
Yeah.
God told me, be quiet. We already trained like this to the thing, to the float of the bus.
Right.
We be telling everybody be quiet. He tell us before we get on the bus to be quiet. Don't talk on my bus.
Right.
I don't want to hear nothing but silence. If I hear anything, I'm gonna show you what's going on. We're not from Jackson.
Right.
We're from Rankin County. So people don't know that when they sitting there and they first get locked up. That's a different level now.
Right.
Your level just up now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm back there, I'm just talking, yeah, blah, 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 BatMan, this, da, 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 I'm gonna do this, I'm going to get this, I'm going, da, da. Soon I get to this camp, I'm gonna make sure I make a phone call. You know how people doing in jail,
Right.
just talk. I'm noticing ain't nobody talking but me and everybody else like this. I kept looking at, man, why you ain't talking, man? What's up? He like, looking at me. I'm like, bro, what's up? This. My partner, Will Hodge, the one you talking about.
Yeah.
He was sitting on the side. He said, bro, be quiet. I said, man, why we gotta be quiet? Man ain't looking at us. Man looking dead at us. I just can't see him looking at us.
Yeah.
He ain't say nothing. He dropped his head. He said he looking dead at us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He let everybody, we got to Rankin County, let everybody out except us two. Because we trained together.
Yeah.
So he came over there. As he was walking, wow! And about 18, 19 years old. Tears fall out my eyes because I want to get him so bad, I ain't know what to do.
Right.
If I would have been in chain, they probably would have killed me over there,
Yeah.
beat me to death over
Yeah.
there in Rankin County.
Yeah.
Because I'd have went into him. But I was in chains.
Right.
And when I was in chains, I just looked at it. I looked at it. Hey, motherfucker, you put your head on me.
Right.
And he said, oh, I got more for you. Don't worry about it. Y'all going off the bus.
Yeah.
He put everything off. So I said, I started to quickly realize that I'm at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I started quickly realizing that. You know what I'm saying? What's up with it? So as I started quickly realizing that it's more guards walking on the bus, and they bigger. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
He said, okay, unlock them two.
Right.
Let them off the bus. They unlocked them two, let us off the bus. We go out there, we stand around about 15 guards. They got us in the middle. He was like, now you want to talk? I was quiet as a motherfucker. I was just looking at it. Now I'm gonna tell you something. My baby son do it right now. That's why I know what he do. I reached in my pocket and grabbed my heavy pump, pulled it out in front of him. Like, man, I'm finna have an asthma attack if you hit me, y'all do this shit. I'm make sure y'all get sued about something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he like, got something to say? I was like, no, sir. He was like, I thought so.
Right.
Go to your zone. So I went on to my zone. Fast forward to my partner Messiah. You asked about the one snap. I told him the same thing. Will Hodges told me. I told him. I said, look, we get on this bus. This is like my second or third time going to prison.
Right.
And I'm sitting next to the one that came to my door and told me somebody from try to do it. I tell him, because we partners in there. I said, man, we get on this bus. Don't say nothing. Wait till we get to Rankin County.
Right.
Wait till we get in Empire somewhere and talk.
Right.
He said, all right. We get on the bus. He was doing me. And all of us sitting there. He looked over at me. I was high at that time. I'm sitting there looking at him. He look at me. I look and see. I can see the man. They ain't looking. I said, man, stop talking. So he was like, kept talking. He couldn't stop. Man, you see over there? You see it? Look at that bitch over there. He talking. You know what I'm saying? He don't been locked up 2-3 years in a kind of jail.
Right.
You get some fresh air. You talk about everything you see right now. And he just didn't know he couldn't talk, and I was telling him. So as soon as we got out, it was all so familiar. Everybody, we said, everybody get up, get out. He walked on by. I looked. I said, that's the same man. When I went, same man.
Right.
And see, rap, as I was thinking it. Rap, upside the head. Little John did the same thing I did. Chain jerk, tear came out of the eye. He ready to get it. And when the man said, oh, he said the same thing he said to me. Oh, said some more, don't worry about that. Y'all going off this bus. They going off the bus. So he walked off the bus for a split second. I said, Lil John, I said, I know what you're feeling. I know what you're feeling. I feel the same thing. Right here, we got to learn how to play here. I said, don't do it. Don't do that. He was like, bro, that nigga slapped me, bro. I ain't know, bro, no. I said, bro, look how many guards out there waiting on us.
Yeah.
Just us, you gonna get me fucked up because I ride with you, nigga. I fuck with you.
Right.
He said, fuck that shit, bro. That nigga ain't getting with that shit. In my mind, get what I see. He gonna change his mind. So, we got out there, as soon as he got there, he stepped out the bus. He was a little more aggressive, but he didn't say nothing.
Right.
Man said, you got something to say? He looked away. He said, you hear him talking to you? So he looked at him and said, no, sir. You know what I'm saying? He said, go on to your zone.
Right.
So we walked on the zone, I said, I told you.
Right.
He was like, why you told me that? You kept telling me. I said, because I got the same thing 2 years ago.
Right.
From that same dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Listen. So that's how I met him, man. We went through so long. We went to penitentiary. We was all the time had each other back and the lowest points in penitentiary. We never left each other. We was always together. You know, if he's on another zone, I was on another zone. We gonna figure a way to get together in each other's zone and yard, visit. Yeah, we doing all kind of stuff, man. When I left prison, I left Lil John. That's his name. I call him his nickname.
Right.
I left him beside Hellfire, my everything I had, TV, money, whatever I had in my pocket, shoes, whatever, ring, everything. Left it with him.
Right.
And he got out of prison. And the day he got out of prison, I was shooting a video called Life Ain't Easy.
Life ain't easy.
And he came on the porch in his prison world. He tell you right now he got out of prison, He probably not being a superstar to get out of prison and do a video the same day you get out of prison. That's what you talking about.
Right.
He had just got out of prison. I took him to the studio. I thought while they were doing hard video part down here,
right.
I took him to the studio. I need you to do this verse on this song right here.
Right.
He did the verse. And we come back out of, I took it to the man, said we're gonna do a video with this mean number of players on it. First day out of prison, he did a video, song, and everything. And that's all because of what he did in the beginning.
Right.
The friendship we had in the beginning.
Right.
Right.
So, I want you to speak on your legacy in the city, man. You know what I'm saying? Whether you consider yourself a legend or not, we do. You know what I'm saying? Your name's synonymous when it comes to Mississippi. I've been to Hattiesburg, Biloxi, and I tell people I'm from Jackson, the first name they gonna ask about is BatMan. Speak on your legacy in this city, man.
Well, you know, growing up, right, I was into a lot of stuff. So, name blew up from there. It started from an innocent boy playing football.
Right.
Then it evolved into breaking in stuff, taking stuff, robbing, selling dope, and everything to go with it.
Right.
You feel me? So Once I did that, and let me take you back a part of history. Wood Street was, this whole street right here was a strip.
Right.
Everything on this street was selling dope.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the people that was over ahead of me, it was like passing the baton.
Right.
Because I watched them. I watched them knock motherfuckers out.
Right.
I watched them shoot each other. I watched them do everything because I was a youngster that used to hang on the block.
Right.
I'm 12, 13, 11 years old, hanging on the block. I'm selling stuff. I'm doing everything I see them doing.
Right.
I'm mimicking everything I see. And I'm absorbing everything I see. So as I grow up in that culture.
Right.
So like I said from the beginning, it was a culture thing.
Right.
And being around these people, I learned there. So when I got to a point, it was my turn to take over and do what I had to do at that point.
Right.
At least that's how I felt when I was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And being from this neighborhood, they taught us to protect our neighborhood.
Right.
Don't nobody supposed to come over here, run over in your neighborhood, and all that type of stuff. Right. And I'm pretty much, they do the same thing over here now, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's how it was.
Okay. So, now you a changed man. Like I say, you got a voice in the city.
Okay.
If it's anything you can say to the youth, man, you know what I'm saying? Get the youth some game, man.
When we say about legend, right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of people just tell me that. Y'all ain't the first one to tell me that. A lot of people tell me that. I like it. I understand what's going on, and to be living, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Right.
So like, being in the troubles I've been in,
Right.
and I ain't always got to be in trouble. That's why I made the foundation. That's why I made the radio show, A Chance in the Choice. Because like, when you sit down and you soul search, you know what's right and you know what's wrong.
Right.
Anybody that do wrong know they doing wrong. It just at the point when you young, you accept it more than when you get older. You get wiser and knowledgeable about what you're doing.
Right.
You you want to live life better. You want to do things better. You want to see people live better. Not only that, even the op.
Right.
People they call the op now. You be
Right.
like, hey, as long as we ain't nobody killed, ain't no bloodshed, we good.
Right.
Fist fight, we good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. It's a lot of working components with that.
Right.
And coming from where I came from and to right now, evolving where I'm at, and like I said, it was a slow turn.
Right.
It wasn't a turn like everybody like, oh, you just turned on, you just changed your life. No, if you go back and look, 10 years ago, I was already turned.
Right.
I was already committed to a church, you know, and everything. I was doing all that type of stuff.
Right.
But, you know, life put you in positions. And like I keep saying, shit happens.
Right.
And I know shit happens because I've been in a position where I be like, 1 minute my life be going this way, and next minute my life going that way.
Right.
And just like I went and did, if I count all the years I've been in prison over half my life.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that because they heard BatMan so much. A lot of people don't know half the time I was in prison when you even talk about BatMan.
Right.
When I come out, I just come out in the middle of it,
Right,
and
right.
it just be going on then, you know what I'm talking about? But that's how it was, because like when I left and go to prison, the stuff I had already did, it had lingered on. The people had already been around, they was already out, they still was doing what they was doing. So I still was connected, even though I wasn't there physically, I was there spiritually. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was there vibing, I could call on the phone, talk, and do all that type of stuff.
Right.
But to get to the point that I'm at now and understand life as what it is right now, to every breath that you take,
Right.
it's priceless.
Right.
So I don't look at life as I gotta have $1 million now.
Right.
I just look at life as long as my bills paid, as long as my bills paid, as long as I got food on my table, as long as my people good, I'm good.
Right.
Even though I know I want a bag, you know, everybody should want a bag. You should be motivated to get a bag. If you ain't motivated to get a bag, it's just the way you go about getting the bag.
Right.
And the point I'm saying is making the right decision, having a chance to make the right decision. Just because you get your ass knocked down, and just because you have a setback, don't mean you're supposed to wallow in that shit.
Right.
That means you're supposed to get up, dust yourself out. You got a chance to do the right thing. You got a choice to do the right thing. You always got a choice. It's always a decision within a decision. And as long as a youngster know that and never let peer pressure bag him down to a point where he feel like I'm obligated, it'll be a lot of people make the right decision.
For sure.
So But people look at it like, you gotta think about it.
Sure. Before we get up out of here, man, get some shout out to some people, man. Let the people know what you got going on.
Okay. Y'all want y'all first. Let's go to my I'm on Instagram, GangBoss. Y'all remember that man said that about newspaper. So everything I use, if you see them I'm using, it's because I'm trying to take all my negatives and turn them to positive.
Yeah.
So by Frank Melton, the mayor Frank Melton calling me GangBoss all the hits. I use that name right now today, and I use it in a positive way. I still do little music with people. I still do certain things. I got music coming out with my son, so you can follow me on GangBoss05 on Instagram. I do TikToks. I'm very funny. You know what I'm saying? I like having fun. I like to be alive, man. I do not like miserable people. Period. I do not like being around them. Right. They say misery love company. I got on Facebook. I'm Albert Donelson. So I'm on three social platforms. GangBoss05 on Instagram. TikTok, Avion Too Funny. Remember, underline Avion Too Funny. And on Facebook, Albert Donelson.
Okay.
So it's a lot of stuff I do in the radio show. I got a non-profit foundation that I partner with a lot of foundations around Jackson that took me under their umbrella. They work with me. I work with them. So I've been doing a lot of community work. A lot of things like passing out water, to bring groceries to people, just having a conversation with people, mentorship with kids, the trouble to youth. My days be filled, man.
Okay.
My days be filled.
Yeah, what's up, man? Well, man, it's your boy City Sale, Juice to the Legends. I got ManManSoCrazyTV, man. We finally gave the people what they want, man. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Peace out.
Peace out.